So we got a cropped and leveled photo. So that's the first edit with a landscape. Next thing, I'm going to start changing color and everything, because to me, although I can see details in the rocks, everything looks a little grayish to me, and I want to like fix that. I want to really pump it up a little bit. So the first thing we're going to hit is the button on the top, the menu item called layer right here. Notice how it says layer here, and then we can see what our layers are over here. And you got to think of it, this is our photo, and then we're going to put layers of edits. So we're not doing it to the photo itself, we're doing it on top of the photo. Imagine that, as like little filters. So we can go at layer, and then follow with me, go to new adjustment layer, and let's work first with exposure. And exposure in photography means the amount of light that is in your picture that has hit the sensor in the camera and created the image. All right, we can adjust it after. So check it out. Look what happened here as I choose that tool. It created a layer right here. So we got the background and we got the exposure layer. Bethany Collins, come on in. All right. And the exposure, we can, you have this in an iPhone and in other, phones, you can edit photos. Exposure means adding light. Whoa, so much light that it turns white. We can't even see anything. And you can make it lower, turns towards black, right? Over the whole picture. It's called a global edit. So look how powerful that is. And I'm just going to change it to, actually, I want to change this. I can type in a number. I'm going to go 0.7. All right, leave it right there. Okay. And that's enough. Now look at this. This is called the properties drawer. And I'm going to click on this. This is where it came from, properties, and click it again to hide it. But see, it's highlighted. So I got the exposure adjustment. It's lighter. And I can click here to rechange it anytime I want. So now the kind of a cool part, if you want to go, is it really better? Let me compare it from before to after. You can go like this. Over here on the layers, you have these little eyeball icon right here. And you can turn on and off your visibility of it. If I hit this little eyeball, it shows me the whole picture without the exposure adjustment. And here it is with, right? See, it's a little different. Kicked it up a notch. With a little more light, I'm seeing more details in the clips here. That helped me. I like that. All right. And if I want to go back and change it, I can do click right here on properties, or I can just double click that right there. The same thing happens. Now I can play with these, offset and gamma, without getting into too much detail. These change other characteristics of the light, not just the amount of light, but like the light in dark areas. So I can bring it down, I'll bring it up. This looks like it's making everything whiter, like adding white to each little pixel, or adding darkness to each little pixel, and more saturation too. Okay. Now, if I move it around, and it's kind of hard to just slide it to 0. You can do this. You can double click on it, and it goes to 0. I just double clicked on the line real fast. It went back to 0. So I'm going to bring it down a tiny bit because I like that contrast right there between the dark rocks and the light rock and the sky and the water. I'm seeing more texture doing that. I like that. I can bring this up and look at it. It starts getting kind of trippy. Big flash of white light over everything. And going too low, it gets, whoa, spooky. Kind of cool though. Right? If I don't like it, just double click it, and it goes back to the original location. Okay. You guys still with me? Can you give me a thumbs up in the reaction button if you're able to make that exposure adjustment? Right on, Liam. Okay. And now, the cool thing about this tool being so complex and making you have to really like focus on where you're clicking is that it makes you slow down and really analyze what you're doing. That's really important in art making, is to have powerful tools, but then use them really carefully, all right, and intentionally.